This is just Bob Bowman, and I'm coming at you with another video. And I want to say that I was inspired to make this video because I went on another brother's YouTube platform and I made a comment about some of the things that he said. And I'm not going to say his name on here because who he is isn't important, but what it is that we discuss in my mind and the way that I look at things, it is important. Now, he said something during our disagreement because we had a disagreement on certain things, and he said that we all are slaves in captivity here in America. The so-called black people, or in his idea, is the Hebrew Israelites or the royal family of what he says. And I have my own beliefs and my own thing that I believe and how I see things, and I'll be honest with you, I align closely with how the truth unedited, how what he puts out there, the way that he sees things and his way of seeing things, and how he has put the research out there, and it makes a lot of sense to me the way that he's seeing it. And so I lean more towards him, even though I don't agree with him 100%. I'm my own man. I'm not going to agree with another man 100%. It's almost 100% impossible. It may happen where somebody's ideology aligns with me exactly, even though I have yet to find that in my life. Maybe I will find that in my life. But with that being said, one thing that he said that stood out to me was, we're slaves here. Now, I totally disagree with that. Now, I had a video that I posted here earlier on YouTube a few days ago, actually about a week ago, where I said that ownership starts with self. And we live in a society where we're able to get our passports, go to different countries, enjoy our lives, go on vacations, even though a lot of us are not in that boss position to where we don't have to work under people. We are servants here. And to be correct on the position that we are in here in America, is that we are servants, and it mostly aligns up to how the Persian Empire was back in the day, when they allowed certain groups to have their own religions and move in their own ways, even though they were still servants to the overall government, the overall authority. That's where we're at right now. If we're going to be 100% honest, we are not slaves. Even though we have a history of slavery here, the so-called black people have a history of slavery here. Currently, we are not slaves. We have people here that are business owners. We have entrepreneurs here that's making a lot of money. We have people that's able to travel and go to different countries here. And it's not easy to get to these positions, but it's possible. And nobody is putting a gun to our head and saying that we got to work or else. We're not getting beat. We're not trying to run away from, we getting beaten, we being harmed by these slave masters and things of that nature. So I don't agree with calling myself a slave, because I'm not. You see, I'm taking ownership of myself, and I understand that from my perspective, my point of view, the way that I see things is that us having this idea that we're still slaves, we keep this slave mentality that we have within the community perpetuating. And there's certain things that were taught to us, or are not to us specifically, but to our ancestors, that's still being passed down generation to generation. And I understand that back in the day, that was for survival, because we had to learn certain things and do certain things a certain way for survival. But since we are not in that type of environment now, we shouldn't be thinking in that type of way anymore. We should be looking to get to another level, a higher level. And me as being a man, I have to stand on how it is that I think. And I understand that now that I like, from my point of view, that I'm not a slave, I cannot allow myself to be a slave to certain behaviors and certain habits and certain things that I like to do, certain pleasures. I have to have certain discipline about myself. I got to have certain regimens. I have to have a routine. I have to have a plan. I have to have a vision to get out of the situation that I'm currently in to get to the next situation, because that's the only way that I was able to escape the situation that I was in prior to me being in the situation that I'm in now. And then I have to understand that I can't be a slave to the perception of others. I can't be a slave to trying to please other people. I can't be a slave to trying to get the acknowledgement that I crave to have. I can't be a slave to living up to a certain image. I have to be myself. And when I'm being myself and when I'm working on myself and I'm doing what it is that I need to do for myself to improve my life personally, that's one step closer to freedom. Freedom is ownership. But before we could get to ownership, we have to own up to the mistakes that we've made personally. We have to own up to our faults and our flaws. And we have to work on improving ourselves to the best of our abilities in order to get to the next step. Now, I don't know what the next step holds for me, so I don't talk about that. I know that I'm working on some stuff and I'm not going to broadcast it here on YouTube, but I'm working on some things. I have some ideas popping up in my head and I'm going to see where it goes. But one thing that I'm not going to allow is myself to have that mentality that, oh, I'm a slave here, or I can't help myself here. I'm helpless. Like God gave me the wisdom, the power, and the tools in order to see what's going on around me and to see what it is that fits me best and what doesn't fit me. And with that type of mentality that I have currently, I'm not going to allow anybody to tell me that I'm a slave, because I know I'm not a slave. I have no beatings on my body. No, nobody is whipping me. Nobody is placing me in chains. But I do have people within the so-called black community that try to treat me like a slave. But I understand why that is, and I'm learning how not to take offense to that as much as I have throughout my life. But I'm just learning to separate myself from those that think that I'm at that level. Because regardless of what they say or what they do, I have to have control over myself. I cannot be a slave to my emotions, even if that means that I have to isolate myself in order for me not to do something that's going to have dire consequences in my life. So you can look at it any type of way that you want to. And I'm not going to down anybody for the way that they look at things and how they view things. But I will say, is that really working out for you? Is that really helping you with your path and your journey? And if it is, okay, so I salute you. If not, you may need to look for another way. And that type of mentality of being a slave, I've had that before. But I realized that that wasn't helping me. And anybody that's pumping that type of idea to me, I can't afford to listen to that anymore, because I have a goal, I have a vision, and I know that there's a possibility that the Most High may strike everything that I'm trying to do down, but I still have to put forth an effort. And then maybe the Most High will show me the way that I'm supposed to go. But other than that, I'm still going to do what it is that I need to do. And I can use a parable in the Bible. When they talked about the virgins that had a full cup of oil for their lamps, and then there were some virgins that didn't. They only had a half a cup of oil. And then the ones that had the half a cup, they used up all theirs. And then when the Messiah came to guide them to the house to where they were supposed to be at, only the ones that had the full cups of oil had enough oil to make it there. The ones that didn't have enough oil, they were like, hey, can we get some of yours? But then the ones that did have it said, hey, if we give you some of ours, we won't make it. So that's where I'm at in my understanding and the way that I look at things. Now, I'm not looking for a handout or a hand from anybody. If somebody gives it to me, yes, I am going to take it because that's logical and that's smart. But am I just going to look for it, wait for it, or complain and make excuses for why I'm not where I'm at in my life because I don't have the opportunities? I'm not doing that anymore because I'm at an age and I'm at a point in my life to where I see that doing all that waiting and all that complaining, it's not going to do anything. You're just going to be in the same position that you're at. And the only time that I was able to move to a better situation is when I put forth effort, even when I failed. And eventually things worked out. And that's how life is sometimes. Some people, they get it like that. They on easy street. But not everybody is the same, and we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to other people. You know, I still got to do the best that I can for myself. And there may be somebody that's looking at me and saying, "Yeah, he's not doing enough." Or somebody is looking at me and they know my story and where I come from, and they say, "Wow, he's doing great. He's doing better than what we thought." But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I still got to do what I got to do, regardless of what the opinions of other people are. So with that being said, this is just Bob Bowman. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Make a comment. Make a comment too. And I'm out.